In order to mark where I'm going to put the compressor in here, I just moved the compressor to the top so I can get the holes lined up. Then I'm just going to go ahead and drill through here, turn this mount over on the compressor so the bolts are up on top, and then I'll be able to bolt it on from the bottom. All right, so I went ahead and drilled through the bag mount plate because that's pretty substantial. Had some pretty good structure there. I went ahead, drilled through, screwed the compressor onto the bottom, mounted sideways, like so. And I will run a line up along under this rail probably, and then it'll tee off, go down to the air cylinder, and then up to a manifold that'll probably be somewhere in here. So that'll be where the dump valves are, one for the front and one for the rear. And of course, there's going to be air ride that's going to be running from the front to there as well. And then, of course, power lines will probably run along with them to the battery. All right, I'm going to do another test of the rear air ride. I got it off the jack, put the front wheel on, and moved it forward a little bit. It was actually too close to the back door for me to work on anything with the fender. So again, just to test, it's sitting on the kickstand, so hopefully this will work out okay. Going up. And that is plenty of room underneath. That's topped out right there. And then going down. There we go. Rear air ride set. I'm going to do some things with the compressor here. I'm going to put some rubber bushings on the bottom. You see I got it mounted on the bottom of the bag bracket. I'm going to put some rubber bushings on there to do some sound deadening and take some of the vibration away. And then I will plumb everything up to the middle of the bike. Not finished with the front air ride. Got a couple of things I got to handle before I can get finished with it. But there we go for the rear. All right, so I took the compressor off and I put my braided stainless lead line on here because that area underneath is going to be subject to debris and water and whatever else I run through. So I didn't want to have just the 1/8 inch plastic air line under there. So I wanted my steel braided one. And this will go up and lead to a T right near the center of the bike behind the motor to lead up. I'm also going to change the way the compressor is mounted to the back there. So what this is gonna go underneath the plate the way it was. I'm gonna have a bolt come down through, and then between the compressor mount and the bag mount, I'm going to put a spacer and a rubber grommet to cushion some of the vibration and get rid of some of the noise. It's not going to alleviate everything, but instead of it being metal to metal, causing a lot of vibration and amplifying the sound of the compressor, at least this will dampen it somewhat. So I'm going to put this in all four corners in the back, and I'll shoot a video once that's all mounted up. All right, so here we go, another day. Since last I recorded, I've dry fit a bunch of different stuff to try to get things to see where they're going to be. I got the front end put on. I do not have the air ride in there, so this is just the full front suspension. I needed to be able to move it up and down, and without the front air ride hooked up, it would stay too low in the front and I couldn't move it. So I've got the entire front end on, again, without the air ride, but that's with my full triples, wheel, fender. These are actually the custom handlebars I got. Not sure how I feel about them yet. Not sure if I'm going to keep them. I like them, but something very silly. That angle right here is slightly upward. Now, it could be that, I have the front end all the way up. And so maybe that's what it is. And maybe once I get the front end dropped down to a normal ride height, or of course, when it's parked and it's all the way down, that'll sit at a better angle and maybe I'll like it better. But those are the handlebars. Kind of cool. Like I told you, I'm going to have all hidden controls. So they're just going to be a grip here, a grip on the other side. The controls for the throttle and for the clutch are going to be completely internal. It's actually going to be a twist clutch, and the cables will run inside of the bars down and come out down here and be completely hidden. I put a temporary switch for the for the air ride, just so I could test it up and down, because now it's sitting on a block of wood, so I needed to be able to raise and lower it, and I didn't want to have to go back and forth to the battery each time. And so now you can see I'm also fitting the bags. Got to do some pretty significant modification on there, because that overlay fender is designed for a Harley, and of course the Harley fender is shaped differently, different height, different mounting points, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna have to do some cutting, modding. Might have to do some fiberglass at the front just to make it look halfway decent at the front edge, but I'll see that once I put the seat on. And I have to work with those gaps, make sure I can get everything lined up, make room for the light strips that are going to go down in here, which will be my tail and brake lights. But that's where I am today. She's coming along. Right now, from front wheel to the tip of the tail is 10 feet. Boy, oh boy, is she going to be long. Anyway, moving right along. So in order to be able to mount the Harley crash bars to the bike, in order to use the Harley style lowers, I got some 1/4 inch by 1 1/4, 1.5 inch plate steel, and cut myself some pieces about 5 or 6 inches long. And I'm going to use those to fabricate brackets that are going to go behind the floorboard mounts, come out, and then I will actually have to tap into the frame here, put a spacer in order to adapt and mount the upper tab for the crash bars. Got my trusty cutoff saw here, made pretty quick and easy work of this bar steel. Nice and clean. Plus that, I got to cut it to the actual length I'm going to need, and then I'll probably clean it up. I might even see if I can polish this. Not sure if I can or not, but we'll check it out. All right, got to create these mounting plates for the crash bars. The tabs, the lower mounting points on the crash bars are offset. So the two brackets that I'm making, one is to allow for a mounting tab that sits higher, and the other is going to be a mounting tab that sits lower. So when I drill these holes, they're not going to be down the middle of the adapter. They're going to be offset to make up for the difference. All right, so I've got the brackets cut. I've got the mounting holes for this bracket drilled. And what I'm doing is measuring so that I can get the hole drilled for the actual crash bar. And once I do that, then I can come back and do the other side. But I have to get at least one of them lined up because they are offset to make sure that I can get them to line up correctly. I'm definitely a little out of sequence with my board. But last night I came out and did all my mounts, and I have got the crash bars all mounted up. I'm going to leave that bubble wrap on them right now to protect them and protect anything else that might be around them. But now I can work on the chin spoiler and footboards and some other stuff. Another thing checked off.